Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Well, welcome back to all of our listeners and our participants, wherever you are across this planet and off of this planet. I know everyone is listening, and I want to say, we're so excited to be back off our little hiatus with Gretta and the Realm of Beings. As you know, this is Shifting Impressions, and that's exactly what we plan on doing, is shifting some impressions today. And I'm really excited, but just let me finish a little intro in here, if you don't mind. Usually every week, the Realm channels a quote to Gretta that we actually share with the audience, and we discuss it for about 30 minutes. And then the Realm comes in. I don't know if the Realm is going to pay a visit today. I'm not feeling that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's up to the Realm. However, as promised, we decided that we were going to have some guests on from time to time, and Aliesh Pierce is with us. And I'm going to let this very short, actually beautiful video make her introduction for us. And then we'll be right back.
Do you see perfection, or there's a little bit of work to do?
Well, everyone's perfect in their own way. I transform people's lives from the top down, working on the surface of the skin, dealing with a lot of their skin concerns, insecurities, and helping them just reveal their natural glow. I just want my clients to feel naturally beautiful.
Aliesh.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, before I became a skin therapist, I was a professional makeup artist working with celebrities in LA. And what I realized was that a lot of them had skin issues that I just kept covering up, but I wasn't resolving the core problem. I wanted to get this new level of information to really address their skin concerns at a cellular level. I was 12 when I decided I wanted to be a makeup artist. And I moved to Italy at 21. And
wow.
I remember thinking at 14, if I stick with this, I could probably see the world.
When I was in high school, I wanted to make my high school team. When I was in college, I wanted to be a starter and an All-American. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you have an opportunity to play at the highest level. And I think that just is said in anything in life. If you just keep your head down and show up every day, and it's your dream and your passion, nothing really gets in the way of that. What has been your toughest task with being in this business?
Learning how to manage the business, time management, but also finances and marketing.
Right.
I'm a creative, I'm happy to just play with your face all day long. So then remember that there's a goal at the end of this. I'm a creative, but starting a business has really challenged me to take a look at my bottom line and become financially literate. I knew that I needed to create products that were going to be natural and clean, but still efficacious. And I knew that LegalZoom would be the go-to for setting up my LLC and any other kind of legal matters that I had to address.
Look at that. Thank you. That was awesome. I feel good. Hopefully I look good.
You look gorgeous.
I look better than when I came in.
Definitely, skin is more hydrated. Yes. I think the thing that keeps me going the most is leaving some kind of legacy. The legacy I want to leave for the community, it's sharing with really BIPOC community that professional skincare and self-care is essential. I hope that setting up this business here in the community just reminds people that they're worthy.
And without further ado, we like Greta and I in the realm would like to welcome Aliesh Pierce.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here.
We are glad to have you. And I have to say I'm guilty of having a couple of facials with Aliesh. And but there is a lot uh to you that I found absolutely fascinating. And what I really love about what you do is you support people in learning and practicing to love themselves and to love the skin that they're in. And what I really love about what you do, just speaking with you, and I'm going to ask you to elaborate a little bit more unless Greta wants to jump in, is how you support showing people how they can love themselves unconditionally, whether it's gender affirming care. You don't care if you know what your gender identity is, what your sexual orientation is, your ethnicity, your age. None of that matters because it's about loving yourself. And you said that you love Jacques de Gouin and the science of mind. And when you said that, I'm like, I have to tell Greta about this woman. And here you are, right here, a mystic. I call it. Greta said I call her a mystic makeup artist. So
I
people,
like it. I like it. I'm getting emotional because I never really, I guess I charge through. I rarely stop to look at all that I've contributed to, I was going to say the industry, but to the planet. Um, so I'm a little moved that you've done this great big introduction. Like, oh, that's who I am. Yeah, that's right. I think my desire to really support people in self-discovery comes from my own journey. I diagnosed as a minor motor epileptic at the age of 6. I was on barbiturates until I was 13. And at 13, I discovered transcendental meditation. I don't know where we were, somewhere with the family, and I met someone who was teaching TM, starting a class, and they said that I could attend. So I was like the only teenager in the room, and we would go every Thursday for months, and just practice the art of meditation. When about 3 months in, I had my regular EEG evaluation, and I remember the doctor saying, "What did you do? What's different? What did you do?" And I said, I don't know. I mean, I took a couple of meditation classes, and I didn't feel like I needed the medication, so I would take it every now and then. And they said your brain waves are completely normal.
I'm letting Greta jump in now. Greta, go ahead, Greta. I'm stepping back.
So I was sold after that. Like, oh, this is the answer. And thank goodness that I had raised by my mother. I had a parent who was already so open and available to intuition. So she wasn't totally freaked out. She was very supportive, um, as I went on started this journey of discovery.
hmm So it sounds like you've always been oriented toward health, health of spirit, health of mind.
Yeah. I,
That's wonderful. Can you elaborate just a little bit more how you change that how do you think
mm.
that you changed that whole physical challenge that you had around?
Just I'm almost 60 now. And so I've been doing a little reflecting, and I realized, like I said, my um my mother created an environment where I could explore. I remember telling her when I was 5 that I wanted to be baptized because all of my friends were going to get baptized. And she made me wait 2 years. She said, "You need to understand why you're getting baptized and that it resonates with you and it fits your beliefs." And I said, "Well, how do I know what my beliefs are?" So she said, "Well, you have to study and see what resonates with you." So even then, I was kind of being primed to listen to my intuition. I I think I had a long journey of avoiding uh my my intuition because I kept saying I just want to be normal. Now that I don't have this diagnosis, I want to go to a public school. I want to be seen as normal. And I spent a long time trying to just be normal. And then I
Mhm.
realized that I wasn't in that, sense. Um, and I think I've just learned to lean into it. Whatever's showing up is showing up for a reason. And so lean into it.
So you found yourself more accepting of, I want to say that to the audience, a lot of people say that they have gifts, psychic gifts. And I always say to them, you don't have gifts
Hmm.
because a gift is something that you've never had and somebody's giving it to you. I said, but we're all born with these abilities. And
Mhm.
so I'm here as I hear you speak, Alicia, I'm recognizing that you chose to activate those abilities,
Mm.
and that's a beautiful thing. I want to get into these products. I know before we came on, you had pointed behind you and you said, "Oh, I'm going to move them forward a little bit." Yeah. But I want to know, I'm curious, what was the first product that you created and why?
That's really beautiful.
And what guided you? What guided you to do it? What's
You know, like I said, I'm always wanting to in the past I'll say wanted to pick the road that was more traveled to be more in the mainstream. And it in 2020 during the pandemic, I moved to Philadelphia maybe 2 weeks before quarantine. And so I knew that eventually when we opened, I was going to need products that would resonate with the audience that I would be serving. So I was in the back of a hair salon in Germantown, um, and a small room, and most of the clients had locks, so they were, skewed more natural. And I really couldn't find a product line that addressed their needs, was effective, and also, resonated with that clean formulation. So I was making things in the kitchen, and then as much as I enjoyed it, I thought this isn't it. It's a little crude formulation in the kitchen. So I reached out to a chemist that I knew. I worked with when I was working for an Ayurvedic company. And he said, let me create this one, let's do the facial oil. Let's just work on that. And I requested a serum. When he returned it to me, it was a facial oil. And I was so upset. I said, "Oh no, this isn't it. An oil's going to sit on the surface. I want something that really penetrates, like a lightweight serum, and has some viscosity." And I'm describing all this. He's this bright scholar, I should tell you. And he kind of chuckled and said, "Just try it for the weekend." And I had COVID. Skin was going through a lot of transition. I used it that weekend and everything cleared up by Monday. So Monday morning, I called them and I said, "Okay, how many do I need to order to get started?" And just gradually, we've been working together, combining these clinical active ingredients. So they're clearly functioning, science-based, proven effective, along with botanicals, Ayurvedic botanicals that have also been proven effective, but have more of a traditional use, 5,000 years of tradition. using them and marrying those together to create these products. So it's a niche range of 12 products. Um, One that I have another formulator make. And we've just been getting it out into the world, getting that concept into the world. I think of it as a philosophy because it really
Mm.
is marrying the ancient wisdom with newer technology.
Could you elaborate? You used the word Ayurvedic, and
Yeah,
I'm thinking that there might be someone in the audience who does not know what that is. Could you elaborate on that for us?
sure, sure. So
Uh-huh.
Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, and it is just as older, 5,000 years old. Some of the traditions were found on cave walls, predating writing. So those hieroglyphics predate traditional Chinese medicine, even, which is the first recorded, documented tradition. Um, and it really is looking at all of the elements in nature, and how they affect each individual's constitution. You're born with a certain prakriti, a certain constitution, and it's a balance of these different elements: fire, water, earth, ether, and air. And that balance is your own unique blueprint, and then Ayurveda is the science that can support you in whatever your unique constitution is. And then there are times in life when our constitution may change. As we mature, we become more wind dominant, more vata, a little more airy, drier, less focused. In our teens, we may be more fiery, have fiery eruptions like acne, definitely bursts of energy. But then also the seasonal changes. The winter is windy, and cold. The summer is kind of warm. And so all of it takes into consideration all of these elements and how we can really just be our best selves, taking advantage of that energy.
So that means you're connecting the science. Well, it's actually, I'm picking up as two sciences,
Right.
Mhm.
the ancient and the new, and you're bringing it together to
Mhm.
formulate products for the skin.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing to me. I'm gonna have to come to Philadelphia so you can give me one of those facials.
Yes.
Greta, they're fabulous. Trust me. Trust me, because and one of the things, just to piggyback on what you were talking about with the fire and the wind, when you were making me up for my birthday party,
Mm.
I mean, and I said, how do you know what colors? And you said it's like a feeling that you have. It's like then you mentioned Jacques de Gouin. You said it's like I sort of use like creative visualization, and I can kind of feel and sense what energy or whatever is coming off of you. And so that's why I'm not feeling this for you, Kathy. I'm feeling that for you. And I'm going to send a picture of my makeup with me with my makeup done to put on this podcast, Greta, because I forgot to send that photo. But I said, you've seen it, Greta. Uh, you've seen that pretty picture of me. Come on. But anyway, uh, explain that. Elaborate on what did you see? Do you because you closed your eyes and you were like and you don't realize what you were doing, but I'm watching.
It sounds like I'm a makeup savant or
Well,
something.
that's why Greta said we're gonna call you the mystic makeup esthetician. Yeah, holistic esthetician. You just zoned out, but for a moment, and then it's like, and your hand would just, and then you put that like a little. She had like a palette, like an artist, Greta, and like she was like a not like a Picasso. Well, I didn't look like one of them Picasso pictures, but like just and just mixing and blending colors. I've never seen that before.
It's so funny. Around the same time, I guess, as I was about 9. I was diagnosed as also dyslexic. And again, wanting to just be normal. Would always think of this as like it was such a terrible thing. As I got older, I realized I see things really visually, before they happen. And it's probably a gift of dyslexia rather than a curse. I am a really visual person. And so, again, leaning into what's showing up for me when I was 21 to 25 in Milan, I worked in the fashion industry and I would see colors. I realized that I would see colors under the skin, the vascularity of the skin, the beta carotene, all the things I'm seeing, colors, chromophores I'm seeing under the skin. And that forms I guess more than even undertone, it forms the foundation for what I can recreate in 3D. um, and just started leaning into that when I realized that that's what was happening. I think the creative visualization part came about more from again, feeling like an outsider and just wanting to be accepted. I had this list of models that I wanted to work with when I was brand new in the industry. And I remember people telling me, oh, you have to be a superstar. You're not going to work with Naomi Campbell and Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, all these supermodels. You're nobody. That's what they would say. And I'm like, I wonder what Shakti Gawain would say. So I would journal about working with them and what it meant to me to work with them. Not so much the giving them the energy, but what does that mean to me in my career and my ability to just self-expression, and having that canvas, this, canvas that's so revered for my artwork. And I want to say a couple of months in, I got a call. My agent called me and told me that Elite Milan was doing, it was Fashion Week in Milan. And of course, I wasn't doing any shows because nobody knew me. So I had all this free time. And they were doing videos for their models who were also with Elite Paris because everyone from Italy was booking Elite Paris and they needed to let people know that these models were available in Milan. Book them. If you're booking in Italy, book them in Milan. They couldn't find a makeup artist. And so my agent said, oh, we have somebody. She's not doing the show. She just got in. And I got to work with, I turned down the job with Naomi Campbell because I was vegan at the time and it was for the leather, Vogue leather, Vogue Pele. But I got to work with all my other favorite models for a video shoot in between their fashion shows. So it was just a really just affirming, that there are infinite possibilities, and it's just tapping into what you desire for your life.
We would call that creating your own reality and manifesting it. And that's what this show is all about. And that noise you hear is probably my cat because the dog is under the table. I have no idea what she's doing. So, and I'm going to repeat that. Okay. What you have been describing is what we talk about on Shifting Impressions. And what the realm has charged us the task to teach is how we create our own reality. And you are a prime example of what happens when you focus and speak into existence, and you were writing into existence what you wanted to experience, and you created to do that. And audience, now you understand why we have her on this show, because this to me and to us and to Greta, it's what it's all about. You can create what you want to experience. And you did not take no for an answer. You didn't let someone else say, I cannot do this. You decided, you know what I create, whether you realize it or not, but I get, no, I think you did because you were into the meditation. You were already into, you had been exposed and you had already experienced what it's like to know that you could do it. And you just said, "Oh, screw that. Forget that. Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. However, I'm going to Milan. I'm going to work with these models." And you did, but who else have you been working for?
You know, when I moved to LA, and I moved to LA because I wanted to be close to the Agape Spiritual Center. Um, Reverend Michael and Ricky was the choir director then, came to New York when I was living in New York. And I thought, oh, what if I could be immersed in this? You know, I don't have to go to an ashram in India. I could go to LA and do my work and still have this, you know, be in this consciousness, this sea of people who are like-minded, you know, beliefs. And when I got there, I realized that there was a lot of work to do, just a lot of unlearning of things, rewiring. Um, and that was probably the first time that taking classes there was probably the first time that I realized that I'm always manifesting. I think there's an easy out, like, oh, I manifested that when it's good, right? Or when you think of it as good. But when it's not necessarily the desired outcome, we manifested that too. That
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
that
That's
was
what we
the
talk
hard
about,
pill to
right, Greta?
swallow.
That's what we talk about all the time, Alicia. I'm telling you. That's thank you. I'm sorry, continue.
No, that's good. And this is good for me to remember the process because you know, at each stage, it's like I forget that I'm a master manifester, you know? And as I say that, I'm still thinking I'm a master manifester. I manifest the desires of my life. But there's also and there's also this default, you know, that is the race consciousness that's still playing back there. So it's like I have to every day choose to
Mhm.
consciously manifest with intention. And that's the work, you know.
So, who have you done, just out of curiosity, in
Oh,
Los Angeles? You put yourself in that whole type of environment there. So,
yeah. I mean, well, the career, I mean, I started doing makeup when I was 12 in Houston. Um, and had some really early amazing opportunities even then as a tween. But when I moved to Milan, I started working with celebrities and models. And when I was pregnant with my son, I moved back to the States and moved to New York. So in New York, they definitely saw, oh, Black makeup artists, Black celebrities, let's pair them up. Um, so the agent was working steadily to get me bookings. And I've worked with Queen Latifah, Vanessa Williams, India Ari, Michelle and Barack Obama, and the kids when they were really little. Um, with uh, oh, um, so many names coming to mind. Um,
Beyonce?
I worked with Beyonce's dancers, so I was on her set for the lead makeup artist was also with my agency in LA, and so they hired me to do the dancers. Um, but just being in her aura is is uplifting. She's just so full of energy. Oh my goodness, I can't even think. Gregory Hines, you know, like real kind of divine. Um, oh well, one client, infamous client, who I still like to say that I see God in him, is R. Kelly. I worked with him for 10 years, uh, with his terrible reputation. Um, and oh my God, so
that's
many.
okay. That's okay because you brought into his focus your own spirit, you see. So, That was good because it's your spirit. You know, I'm seeing that you not only bring the art of makeup
Mm,
and the art of working with the skin, but you're incorporating your own spirit inside that,
mm,
and that's what gives it the umph,
mm.
of that. So, what types of things, what was it like growing up, that kind of forged the way for you to be able to do what you do now?
Um, that's interesting. I mean, I definitely, like I said, was supported from my mother's side, so much support. Kind of like whatever you want to do. I want to learn how to swim. Okay, let's go give you swimming lessons. I want to learn karate. Oh, well, you're going to go to a public school. You better learn karate. Let's send you to summer camp. Musical acting, even though I can't sing, I really appreciate the theater and just that really was a foundation. She always said, find your passion and the money will come. Figure out what it is that you love doing, and it's all going to be a job anyway. And so do a job that you love, and the rest will figure itself out.
I'm
Um,
interested to know, not to cut you off, but I wrote down something as you were talking, like if someone's interested in the skin,
mm,
like what was your pathway to learn what you do? We know the spiritual pathway, but now
mhm.
what's the physical pathway to get to where you are?
I was working as a makeup artist, and it just felt in a way like there was a cognitive dissonance. Like it wasn't I'll tell you what it was. I started working with India Ari, and she was young. I mean, her first video we did together, so 23 maybe. And about 2 or 3 years in, I said, you know what? You're ruining it for me for the rest of the industry. Like, I don't want to spend the day having trite conversation about color and nose shapes. Like, there has to be something deeper here. And that was the catalyst, I think.
Mm.
I really thought it wasn't as satisfying to me anymore. I remember I had a job with Ryan Gosling and big photo shoot on Melrose, and I was miserable. He was lovely. We got along really well that day, but his manager and his publicist were just gossiping and being catty and mean. And I thought, I'm over this. There's got to be something else. And I was working with Yolanda Adams. She was part of my trifecta. And she went to an esthetician in LA who, in 2 weeks, her skin was just gorgeous, glowing. And I thought, I want to learn how to do that. Maybe I won't have to spackle on so much makeup if I can learn how to do that,
Mm.
Because it was all the colors weren't out for us. We didn't have Fenty with 40 shades. So I was mixing in the palette and trying to get the right powders and creams. And so here, this
Mm.
idea that I could have a completely clear canvas and just add some flourishes if we wanted, a little wash of color, that really appealed to me. And then just gradually, I went to the worst aesthetic school in LA. Terrible, but we had a lot of support between classmates. We all, passed with our boards with flying colors. And I started the path of getting into a spa. Quickly realized that that wasn't for me either. Felt like a brothel. You got 45 minutes to get the client in for their 1 hour facial, 15 minutes to turn the room around, and then the next one comes in, and we had these sliding doors. I thought, oh, this isn't the way I want to do skin. I want to have a relationship with the client. So I kind of dabbled in different environments, med spa, mobile spa,
Mm.
and then wound up in corporate as an educator, doing more of that than anything else. For years, kind of had my own little at-home studio until I moved to Philadelphia and opened my own space. So being an entrepreneur in this sense is still fairly new. It's like 5 years now that I've been doing it. Um, but I'm able now I have an internship program. I'm able to share my knowledge with the next
Mm.
estheticians
Because you're
coming.
mentoring, you're also mentoring, and you
Yeah.
also offer wellness classes like singing bowls and things, and you bring in other like-minded individuals into your salon, and you're a way of supporting them in their work and supporting your own clientele. And with that, everybody take a deep breath. We're going to go to break and then we'll be right back with Aliesh Pierce.
Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence, your magnificence, your magnificence. Overflow your life with joy as you honor your magnificence.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Once again, we are so excited having a very informative, lively session here with Gretta and Aliesh Pierce of Ask Aliesh. And Greta's going to ask Aliesh a question.
Oh, thank you, Kathy, because I have hundreds of questions. I
Good.
want
It's
to
not those baskets behind her, though.
Yeah, I know. And the audience, I was telling Eilish that my daughter came home and said she wanted to study about the skin and said that she was going to study to be an esthetician. And I was telling Eilish that word was so hard for me to remember how to say it. So I might not even be saying it correctly now, but she just really enjoyed doing it, and she still gives me products. I mean, now let me ask you, speaking of products, is there a way that we can order the products that you have, or do you have to see the person and you come in it's particularly set up for that particular person? How does that work?
Well, the product line we created really so that it could live in a retail space and anyone could purchase it. There's an explanation of what it does on each bottle. It has its own little tagline. And so that really is, normal to dry, whatever your skin concern is, normal to oily. But then coming in for a service, it's a great idea to have a consultation.
Hmm.
The first visit is typically, I call it the assessment. It's about 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yep,
So,
sure was.
right? I give people a warning. Look, you're going to be out for about 2 hours. But it gives us time to go through your products. What's your current regimen? How can we tweak it? Take a look at your skin. We'll do a thorough skin analysis, just kind of looking at, we look at its texture, color, and secretions of the skin to give me an idea of what's going on at a cellular level. And then customize a treatment. It's typically 90 minutes for the
Hey,
actual.
you had me fill out medications I was taking,
Yes.
what products I'm using on my skin, what my daily regimen and stuff was before you even met me. So you do an exceptionally thorough, almost like I thought you were a doctor. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, this is so interesting. So please continue.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people show up at the door. Sometimes I wear my lab coat instead of these scrubs, and they'll show up with something. I'm like, oh, let me give you a refund. You need to go see a doctor. I'm one to handle this.
Hmm. Hmm.
I like maybe as close. I probably could pass an exam to be a physician's assistant, a PA for a doctor, a dermatologist, but I definitely don't claim to
Hmm.
be at that level. Yeah.
Now, do you work with the diet of the person?
So there are things that I can see just from experience, but I often will refer people to a dermatologist. We have a medical director on board, a nutritionist, someone the naturopathic doctor who lives in Texas who does virtual meetings. So I try to stay within my scope of practice. So I might say something like, in traditional Chinese medicine, this area is related to your adrenal glands. So you could be under high stress, and just kind of throw things out, concepts, and then recommend that they go see someone for further.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, this is really beautiful. So I mean, what I'm picking up from this is that it's an overall way. You're looking at the overall person. Now, let me ask you this. Can you tell by the skin if a person is like stressed out?
So typically, yes, I can see stress, I can see malnutrition, dehydration, um, lack of sleep, all of these like modern day issues that we have, um, they show up on the skin. We always say, "Oh, the skin's the largest organ," so you see things, but it's also the organ that gets the last of the nutrients. Your heart,
Mhm.
your kidneys, they need these nutrients more than your skin. So when you're devalued of these elements, it shows on your skin first. You might not feel that your pancreas isn't feeling great. You might not feel that you have high blood sugar, but I can see it under with the darkness under the jawline, under the cheekbones, or around the neck. And even though I can't diagnose, I might say, "Hey, have you had this checked out?" You know, take a
Mm.
look.
Yeah, because I was wondering, just piggybacking, when you say you see it, we go remote and we do facilitations. So when you see it, are you literally seeing beneath the skin, underneath, or are you seeing the surface? Because when we do facilitations, we work on all 7 layers energetically, right? Right, Greta?
Mhm.
And we go into all the cells of that person's skin. And so I was wondering if you've ever, maybe have you ever experienced, like one time found myself, I said, I wonder what a cell, Greta has me studying these cells. What does a cell look like? And I'm floating around, I'm half asleep that time in the morning when I don't know what you call it, Greta, but all of a sudden I said, boy, I feel like I'm on a lazy river. I said, isn't this nice? And I'm floating all around in there and I go, gee, what the heck is that? Okay. And it's like, oh, ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. And these other little things. I said, that looks like a mitochondria. I said, am I inside of a cell? Am I looking what the inside of a cell looks like? And Greta said, yeah, that's where you were. So I'm wondering, have you ever felt when you see, other than the surface, you see beneath that? Because you said you can see is it the energetic thing? Can you elaborate?
So that's interesting that you asked that because I just trained a group of estheticians in Delaware, and I was trying to give words to that intuition. I said as an esthetician, you really have to study cosmetic chemistry, cellular biology, skin physiology, and have those parameters. And then it's almost like you forget all of that and then just zero in on the person in front of you, the skin in front of you, and let your intuition take over. So, yes, maybe on some level I am seeing beyond the veil, beyond the surface. Um, but I do always attribute it to all of the training and mentorship that I had to get to the level of seeing it. But, as a makeup artist, I was probably seeing it then too. That's what I was saying. Oh, I see this warmth around your eyes. Okay, so let's do a warm shadow. Or I see.
That's what you were saying. Yeah. When you were doing my makeup and you were saying, no, I'm not seeing that. And I'm like, does she realize who she's talking to? And I'm going, huh, who is this person? And it was just about it was just so very fascinating to me. And it was like, wow, this woman is just phenomenal. I said, Greta has to meet this woman. And I think that's the first time I said, are you interested in being on the show? And you said, okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So you liked Jacques de Gawain, creative visualization. So I'm just going to paddle back a little bit. When you are when you're working on the skin in front of you, like you're saying, you got to focus on the skin. When you're focusing, what are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing when you're focusing? Like, what are you, like I said, I guess it's going back to the other question. Are you aware if you're seeing beneath it, or are you feeling the energy coming off of the skin? That's what I'm trying to understand a little bit more.
I think if anything, I would say that I feel an energy. I definitely, that's that intuition that I guess I'm tapping into. I was thinking about my ex is a loctician, and she would say a prayer before starting someone's locks, um,
Mm.
just for divine right action, and that's kind of something not as maybe not as formal as she would do, but I definitely try to ground. Sometimes I might take off my shoes while I'm doing the facial so I can be on the ground and receive energy and receive intuition, because I did notice early on when I first started this business that I would be depleted at the end of the day. And I realized that I was efforting and trying to give from my own supply instead of tapping into infinite supply, you know. Have coffee, take my B12 because I've got to be there from here instead of, opening up at the top. So I have made that more of part of my ritual to just tune in. Um, yeah, but I don't think I don't give it much thought.
Well, I
That's
know that when you say,
private.
what are we going to do today? I know if you notice, I always say, I'm in your hands. Whatever you suggest, whatever you feel.
That's all I want to hear.
That's what I say, right? And so we're going to do this, and I'm feeling that, and look, Greta, I just lie there.
Mhm. Alish, I have a question because our audience is quite varied.
Mhm.
And I know right now we've been talking about Black skin. Do you work on other ethnicity, other groups? Can you elaborate on that for us?
Sure. It's really important to me that these services are available to everyone equally, that we
Mhm.
all have access to this level of self-care. So I founded the Equitable Skincare Project and the Equitable Esthetician to be able to train estheticians from all backgrounds in how to customize services for everyone. So as Kathy was saying early on, just gender identity, religious beliefs, some may require halal and some ingredients may not be halal. If they're vegan or vegetarian, I know like, ooh, let me omit this egg mask, that or something that sometimes there are things that are tested on animals or may have honey. I just try to adjust for every possible skin condition, ethnicity, age,
Mhm.
possible. Um, and I recently contributed to this article in the local paper, and the interviewer asked me um, why it's important to support a Black business. And I thought, oh, I could go down the social justice angle, but it's really because I do great work, you know? Support my Black. I don't know why you support another Black business, but you support mine because I do great work. And, if when I'm confronted with the question of do you deal with European skin, I started in the industry in Europe. So I think it's kind of a silly question. At the same time, I understand because I have so many, 90% of my clients are African American, and they're looking for someone who understands their skin. So
Mhm.
if I have someone with Irish background and they are showing signs of the redhead gene, I better know what that means also, and be
Mhm.
prepared for that as well. The last question on the questionnaire, but the most important to me is what's your ethnicity?
Mm.
And recently I've had some people write NA. And like my first, if I see it before they come in, I will call them and have them explain it to me because it's the most important question that I'm going to be beyond your medication. How do you respond to that medication because of your own unique physiology? And that's going to come from your ancestors. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So you're a mystic esthetician for everybody, for the world, for humanity.
I
That's beautiful.
love it. An esthetician for humanity. Yes. Yeah, it
We'll
really,
add that to your website. And why don't you give us some of your information so people can reach out to you? And we only have a few more moments. Uh,
sure.
Actually, our producer will let us know. I think we have about 8 minutes, but in that 8 minutes, you have any upcoming events or any other special things that you do in your shop that you can highlight for us? And then you can tell us how to reach you. And, you know, there's a hotel near you where you work, Chester Hill Hotel. Not putting a shout out if people want to stop and spend the night to go to your salon, which is right around the corner from that hotel. But go ahead, enlighten us.
And yes, first of all, that's a great plug because I do have clients coming in from Maryland or Delaware, New Jersey. Some drive in from Manhattan to see me, which is a huge honor. There's still people down in City Line who won't make the 20-minute drive, but I'm honored either way. And the events that I'm holding here are I guess they're kind of in recognition of all that I learned at Agape. I worked with the well-being ministry there, and we would organize the energy workers to come in and share their gifts. So I've decided to open up first Sunday of every month. I take that day off from work and do an afternoon event here with the different energy workers, healers in the city. So this October 5th, we have the 4 energy workers, Reiki, chair massage, tuning forks, and spiritual mind treatments, which is affirmative prayer, coming to offer 20-minute sessions to people.
What a tuning fork. You go like this bing and put it on somebody's head?
Yes, you put it in where different forks have a different vibration and they work with different parts of the body, different ailments in the body.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay. And
so good. It's one of my favorite
the
things.
massage thing, I understand. The Reiki thing, I understand. The mind mapping, you said?
It's a spiritual mind treatment. It's Ernest Holmes' affirmative prayer, kind of his form.
Okay. Okay. I got you. So what is your address?
And so Ask Aliesh Skincare Studio is in Chestnut Hill at 92 Bethlehem Pike. Just turn the corner. People don't turn the corner off of Germantown and discover what we have. I'm across the street from a French cafe, Matines, or Matin. They're remodeling. They're a big draw. Yeah, we have a nice little group of businesses at the around the corner from
You
Germantown.
do singing bowls also, don't you? You play the little bowls?
This month I don't, I've thought about adding that to the facials. I don't, but again, my network, my community, there's a couple that comes in and does a sound meditation. So they were just here first Sunday for this month.
Oh, okay.
Now, I got one more question. I know it's time to go, but
No, it's not.
how many years have you been doing this work?
So 20 years of skincare.
Mm.
And the first makeup job I did, I was assisting the lead makeup artist for the Miss India pageant in Houston, Texas in 1978.
Were you 12 years old?
Yeah, 1978.
Wow.
Did you do Ebony Fashion Fair when you were like 15? You were working
I did. I was like doing Ebony Fashion Fair and model portfolios for the local modeling school. And yeah. And then I went to Milan first to Italy with that portfolio. And they were like, what is this? I'm very proud of my portfolio from Aliesh, Texas.
Okay. All right.
That was the start.
So thank you. I'm gonna have to get on a plane and come see you myself.
Yes, Gretta,
love
yes.
that.
Yes. Well, it's come at last. At last it's come. The end of another show of, shifting impressions. The Realm will return next week, even though the Realm is still here. They were listening. We'll continue to support you in learning how to create your own reality and that you can change the realities that you do not wish to experience them, and you can manifest. If one thing listening to Aliesh has taught you is she is a prime example of creating and manifesting exactly what you want to experience in this reality. And I'm just amazed. And with that, we'll plant you now and dig you later.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the Realm and me, Gretta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.